I mean, my wife can give me one look and I can write 3 pages what she just said.
Me too.
Okay, right? But now 30 years ago, my wife gave me that one look. I'd go, huh? And the whole room awkward, right? So the thing is, in order to have intimacy with Him, and I'm jumping to intimacy now because intimacy goes to the desires, the intentions, the thoughts of the heart. We have to know the one we want to have intimacy with. You know, I look at these guys in the early church, and what I started seeing, and this all started on a fast last year. God spoke to me and said, I want you to read the book of Acts. And I started reading, and I realized what was normal for the church back then is not normal for us today. Because they completely depended on the Holy Spirit. He was a vital part of all their life. He was literally with them and partnered with them in everything they did. If you look at the apostles, they wrote a letter and they said it seemed good to us and the Holy Spirit. They're actually representing His view and their view, but what I love about that is they're so intimate with Him, they said it seemed good. They didn't say the Holy Spirit said, and so do we. Do you understand that they were so intimate with Him that God allowed them to represent Him without Him speaking? Now, that seems odd right now, but it's not. Last year, my wife and I are doing a national conference in Canada, right? I speak the first night, she speaks the second night. The sound man comes around, he's got a countryman ear mic, right? My wife's in worship, her hands are up, tears are coming down. I stopped the sound man. I said, no, she doesn't want that. She wants that wireless handheld. He went back and got the wireless. I was able to represent Lisa without her saying what she wanted because I know her so well. So this is the thing people have to understand. You and I could be together for a year. Depending on how we interact will determine how close we become. We could be perfect strangers after a year. I can tell you of husbands and wives that are complete strangers and they've been married for 30 years. Why? Because they don't interact and intimately go to those levels. So I know Christians that the Holy Spirit's been with them for years, yet they really don't know Jesus that well because He's the one that reveals Him. If you look at the Apostle Paul, he never walked with Jesus, right?
Right.
Okay, so how many times do you and I hear people say, oh man, I wish I could have walked with Jesus on the shores of Galilee?
Of course.
I don't think they'd have any different of a life. And to be honest with you, I think they wouldn't even be as close because Jesus said, there are things about me I can't tell you, only the Holy Spirit can tell you. So here's Paul. He never once walked with Jesus. Never. Not once, right? And he comes to know Jesus so intimately that Peter, who walked with him for 3.5 years, finally writes and says, this guy Paul knows Jesus so well, some of his letters are hard for me to understand.